Hi, welcome to my video on the relationships among trig functions. In this one, we're going to look at the sum of theta and 180 in relation to theta. Again, we have an addition. The previous video was on 180 minus theta, which is supplementary. So, relating theta and theta plus 180. So, if we take this rotation here on this circle, and we have this rotation is theta, so the reference angle is equal to theta, and we drop a perpendicular from this rotation to the x-axis. So in relation, I'm going to use the unit circle whose radius is 1. So this is 1, this is x, and this is y. So when we have, that's theta, so now we look at theta plus 180. So we take theta, which is here, we add on 180. So this is the rotation here. So this rotation all the way around is 180 plus theta. And so notice is that 180 plus theta, this reference angle is the same as here. So this is theta. This, whatever this reference angle is right here in the first quadrant, that's the reference angle here. So this rotation is theta plus 180. So it's the same reference angle. Same as the previous video. The reference angles are the same. So since the reference angles are the same, adding or subtracting 180 or supplementary, that means the functions are not going to change. Sine is sine, cosecant is cosecant, cos, secant, tan, they're not going to change. They're going to, like the cofunctions. Remember the two videos before this, we did 90 minus theta. In relation to 90 minus theta, we do cofunctions. So that means we get cos, the cofunction is sine. If we got secant, then the cofunction is cosecant, and tan and cot. But in this case, whatever function we have in relation to theta, because the reference angles are the same. The only difference is this is a negative in the third quadrant. The y is negative. This is the perpendicular and 1. So if we look at 180 in relation to sine is positive here and is negative here. Sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse, so it's negative. So it's y over 1, negative y over 1. So therefore it's going to be negative. So the sine positive, sine in the third quadrant is negative with the same reference angles because we're rotating 180 degrees. And whatever sine is, cosecant is because they're reciprocals. Again, cosecant, positive here, negative here. And cos is positive here. So, but over here, cos is negative. Cos is positive in 1 and 4, negative in 2 and 3. So it's the negative of the cos of theta. And so secant is also negative, because whatever cos is, secant is. And let's look at tan. Tan is positive in the first quadrant, and tan is positive in the third quadrant. So this is a plus. So cot is also a plus in relation to the reference angle. Again, because we rotate 180 degrees, the two angles of theta and 180 plus theta are the same reference angles, so the trig function is not changing. Cos, cos, secant, secant, tan, tan, cot, cot, sine, sine, cosecant, cosecant. Again, it's only when you rotate with the 90 in relation to 90 or pi over 2 that we change. But we don't change when we have 180. We just look whether if they're going to be positive or negative or both positives. Okay. Now, to illustrate that, I will do two examples. What about the sine of 30 and the sine of 30 plus 180? Well, if we rotate up here 30 degrees, draw a terminal arm, perpendicular to the x-axis. Reference angle is 30. This angle is 60. That's a 90. So if you want to use the unit circle, so it's 1. So if I use the unit circle, I'll go 1 half root 3 over 2. Again, I prefer to go. Hypotenuse is 2. This is 1. This is root 3. It makes it easier when you're doing the ratios because you have no fractions. Sine of 30 is opposite, which is 1 over 2. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Now, the 130 plus 180 is the same as the sine of 210. So 210 is 30 and 180 more, so it's right straight across here, right there. So this is 210 rotation. And a 210 rotation gives you 180 and 30 more. So the reference angle is the same, perpendicular to the x-axis. So that means that this is 30, this is 60, opposite 30 is a 1, opposite 60 is a root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. But in this quadrant, the x is negative and the y is negative. Hypotenuse is positive. So the sine of 210 is the sine of 30, which is opposite, which is negative 1 over hypotenuse of 2, opposite over hypotenuse. And again, note that the sine of theta plus 180, because we rotate 180, reference angles are the same, we'll have a sine of, sine of theta. And what's sine here? Sine is positive in the first quadrant, and it's negative in the third. So that's the negative. So we got a half and a negative half just to illustrate. So the sine of theta plus 180 is the negative sine of theta. And just one more example. What about we do the tan of 60? So the tan, let's say 60 is this rotation here. Draw terminal arm passing through that rotation of 60, perpendicular to the x-axis. This is a 60-degree angle because the central angle is the same size as the arc. This is the 30, 90. So again, we'll just use a 2. Opposite 30 is a 1. Opposite 60 is a root 3. First quadrant are all positive. Hypotenuse is positive anyway because it's the radius of the circle. So the tan is the opposite over the adjacent. So opposite in relation to 60. Opposite is root 3. Adjacent is 1, so we just have a root 3. The tan of 60 plus 180 is the same as the tan of 240. So 60 is there, so we have to add on 180 more. So we go right down to here. So it goes down like that. So this is 240, which is the same as theta plus 180. So we drop a perpendicular to the x-axis. So if this angle is 240, this is a 60 reference, and this is a 30, and opposite 30 is a 1, opposite 60 is a root 3, hypotenuse of 2. Because it's a second quadrant, that means the x is negative and the y is negative, and so the tan is opposite, which is the negative root 3 over adjacent, which is negative 1, so it's root 3. Tan is opposite over adjacent, negative root 3 over negative 1, which is a root 3. And that means that the tan of theta plus 180 is equal to, notice the two of them are positive, equal to the tan of theta. Why? Again, repeat, when you rotate 180 degrees in relation, or add on 180 degrees, the reference angles are staying the same. So therefore tan is tan, and tan is positive in the first, positive in the third. So that's a positive. Whereas here, the sine is positive in the first and is negative in the third, so it's a negative. But because we have a 180 rotation, the trig function, if a sine stays a sine, tan stays a tan, cos stays as cos, secant stays as secant. They don't change. Because you rotate 180 degrees, the reference angles stay the same. So keep that in mind. The previous video, again, the previous video, the ratios never change, but they're positive in the first quadrant. What are they when you look at the rotation? Plus or minus. And again, if you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button if you wish. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained, just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.